What is going on, everybody? AHS Rules back again with another video, and we're here for another Ring of Honor TV review, and this is the first one of 2024. What's the best way to put this? This episode felt very weird for several different reasons, and the best way I could describe it is that a lot of it felt in slow motion. Now, there's one match in particular. There's a reason for that. I'll get into detail with that. But it's just like, I have no clue when this show actually was taped. If I was to guesstimate, it would have been 2 weeks ago because the stage still had Christmas decorations on it, which is a bit funny. That doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. And B, Caprice Coleman, I feel so sorry for him, but his voice was almost gone during this whole episode, so it was very difficult to understand him, and I imagine it was difficult for him to put on the performance that he did on commentary, so I do commend him for that, but it was something notable that was taking place. Now, before I get in depth with the actual episode, I should talk about the events of AEW Worlds End, because several Ring of Honor related things took place on this show. Most notably, Eddie Kingston retained his Ring of Honor World Championship along with his New Japan Strong Openweight Championship, while adding the AEW Continental Championship as he defeated Jon Moxley in the finals of the first ever Continental Classic, and he was the winner. And there's very little rest for him, as this Saturday on Collision he'll be facing Trent. Now, I don't know how the championship will be defended. I would imagine that all three titles would be on the line at all times, and if he comes over to Ring of Honor, he's just defending the Ring of Honor World title. If he's defending it in New Japan Strong, he's just defending the New Japan Strong Championship. And then in AEW, and in this instance, I imagine all three. Again, something that I don't think has been clarified, but they've just been saying he's a Continental Classic champion, or he's the Continental champion. So we'll see later on, but congratulations to the Mad King. Secondly, Samoa Joe, former Ring of Honor television champion, and obviously former Ring of Honor World Champion, become the AEW World Champion, defeating former Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion MJF, who again lost the tag team titles last week. And being the Ring of Honor asshole that I am, did he need to vacate the damn TV title because he won the Ring of Honor World Championship? Now, I will say this. Him being AEW World Champion, I really doubt he would have ever appeared on Ring of Honor again, so I can understand him vacating the championship now. And with the direction, I will say this. This isn't even really a spoiler. The TV title match was very good tonight, so I'm over Samoa Joe not being Ring of Honor TV champion, even though it's just such a weird situation. And last but not least, after the Samoa Joe and MJF matchup, Adam Cole revealed himself to be the Devil, and he formed a new group known as the Undisputed Kingdom, featuring Wardlow, Roderick Strong, and the Kingdom, with the Kingdom being the two men that are now the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. I could go on a completely whole spiel, but you're here for our ROH TV review, and I think I won't lie. I'm going to give it time, is the best way to put it. My thoughts on the Undisputed Kingdom. Long story short, I'm not the biggest fan of the group. The Kingdom being the ROH Tag Team Champions is okay, because they're Ring of Honor alumni, even though they have not appeared on ROH TV since they've been on AEW TV carrying around and managing Roderick Strong. They have not appeared. And if they have, I've completely forgotten about it. And again, if they appear again, it's fine, because I always mention this. Once in these 45 episodes have the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships been defended. So we'll see if that happens. And like I said, I'm giving it time before I fully critique and just have a complete disdain for the Undisputed Kingdom. I'm going to give it a chance. And if I give it a chance and I don't like it, that's when I make a separate video not involved in this ROH TV review. But let's get to this episode. Griff Garrison versus Serpentico is the first matchup. The matchup was set up I'm trying to make note when I actually started the review. Because a number of weeks ago, they were in an 8-man tag, and the Spanish Announce Project cost Cole Carter and Griff Garrison a match. I thought this was supposed to be a tag team match. Again, I don't think that really matters in the grand scheme of things, but Cole Carter and Angelico accompany their respective partners at ringside. Serpentico wants to do a dive, but gets distracted by Carter, and then Garrison attacks him. Serpentico fights out of a backbreaker attempt, but Garrison hits a torture rack into a blue thunder bomb to win the matchup. This was mainly a one-sided matchup with Garrison dominating, and I just felt a lot did not happen. And I'm glad that they did this segment backstage later on, because it added a little bit more to it. And essentially, Cole Carter and Griff Garrison are saying that Maria is still at home with her family, and they don't know when she's coming back. And before they can say anything else, the Spanish Announce Project attacked them and chop blocked them, which was very funny. And again, like I said, I felt this episode was in slow motion. It felt like it took, one of them got chop blocked, and they're like, what the hell is that? And then Angelico by Serpentico, and then Angelico chop blocked the other one. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Next matchup, this one was not slow at all. Very quick. Lance Archer versus J.P. Harlow. There's no code of honor. Instead, we get a choke slam by Archer. Harlow tries to avoid Archer by getting on the top rope, but Archer hits a running knee, and that sets up him to hit the blackout for the victory. Next matchup is Dalton Castle versus Peter Avalon. This is the last time I mentioned it, how the episode felt very slow. This matchup was purposefully supposed to be like that because Dalton Castle has not slept since Final Battle. Now, I'm foreshadowing a little bit because there's a promo backstage, but Dalton Castle took his sweet time getting to the ring. In the matchup, he was taking his time, hitting and setting up his maneuvers, but Castle is essentially upset because he lost the TV title match at Final Battle, and then he was not able to win the TNT title number one contendership match at Worlds End on the 0 hour. Castle's knee is hurt after being tossed to the outside, but Castle is lackadaisical in his suplex and bangarang attempts, but the second bangarang attempt was able to land. Now, I'll say this. A, I forgot if I said he faced Peter Avalon because I just felt that I was talking about how the match felt. And B, there's a promo segment later on involving Johnny TV, and I already mentioned Castle said he has not slept since Final Battle, and Johnny TV's upset because Castle embarrassed him in front of Taya last week when Ethan Page defeated Johnny TV, which I'm surprised that I remember that. And Castle says he's going to attack Johnny's face, but Taya protects Johnny's face. I really don't understand what this rivalry is. And it just goes, it's like we're going on a road and the road's not straight. It just freaking starts, you just spinning in circles. It is a very weird ass rivalry, and I don't know if and when we'll see them compete again. So we'll see. We got another promo segment, this one being from the Men of the Year. Scorpio Sky said that he is willing and wants to help Ethan Page because when Scorpio Sky was on top, it was of the help of Ethan Page, and that 2024 will be the year for the Men of the Year. I think, logically, hey, you should challenge for the tag team titles. That way you both are getting something, but Ethan Page is willing to take any championship gold, which, in Ring of Honor, there's a lot to choose from. In AEW, there's a lot to choose from. So, we'll see if any of that happens in the future. Next matchup is Queen Aminata versus Maya World. Lots of moves on the ground and mainly kicks, and Queen Aminata wins the matchup with a Koji clutch known as the Juicy Lock. Next matchup is the Infantry versus the Boys versus Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. Moriarty and Brent start the match off. However, once Bravo tags in, the Infantry works together, which Shane Taylor takes care of by himself. The Infantry hit the boot camp, but Shane Taylor tags in with Moriarty hitting a running boot and a Marcus Garvey driver by Shane Taylor to pick up the victory for Shane Taylor Promotions. Next matchup is Red Velvet versus Alex Garcia. Garcia has the advantage early, even though that just stops once both start to exchange kicks, which there was a lot of kicks in this matchup, with the final one being from Red Velvet, known as the Mix, and she won the matchup. It was kind of a Trouble in Paradise Kofi Kingston style kick, and after it, you can hear on the camera saying that she wants that Women's Television Championship. It is very weird that, hey, in Ring of Honor, there's a Women's World Championship. And there's no Women's Television Champion yet. I don't know when they're going to have this tournament or crowning of the champion. But Athena is still, you can go after her, maybe. I don't know. Next matchup is legit Layla Hirsch and Rachel Ellering versus Mercedes Martinez and Diamante. Ellering and Diamante start the match off, but quickly Martinez and Hirsch tag in with Martinez, keeping Hirsch in her corner. Eventually, the tag is made back to Ellering, who bolds well against both of her opponents, but Ellering pushes Hirsch out of the ring as she was about to get hit by Diamante, but this sets Diamante up to hit a sliced bread and Mercedes Martinez to hit a air raid crash on Rachel Ellering to pick up the victory for Martinez and Diamante. Now we're to the final two matches, and like I said, kind of made up for the rest of the show, in my opinion. The first of these two matches for the television championship, Kyle Fletcher's first title defense being against Willie Mack. Mack hits a Hurricane Rana and a kick early, but Fletcher is able to catch Mack off a crossbody and slams him. Now I'll say this. Willie Mack is almost double the size of Kyle Fletcher, but Kyle Fletcher is able to body slam him a handful of times in this matchup, and I will give him kudos because it's a very impressive feat. Both men exchange chops, with Mack being more effective. Fletcher is working hurt and again slams him twice more, but it does damage to him because that was not an easy task. Mack hits a cannonball and a standing moonsault for a 2 count. Fletcher hits a brainbuster for a close 2 count. Mack hits a Shining Wizard and a Razor's Edge into the corner, but Mack couldn't get his sharpshooter locked in. Fletcher hits a Michinoku driver for a 2 count, and then lastly hits a pile driver to pick up the victory and to retain his Ring of Honor Television Championship. Now we're on to the main event. A 6-man tag, including the Workhorsemen and Gringo Loco versus Lee Johnson, Komander, and Hijo Del Vikingo. Normally I wouldn't make this note, but because it proclaims to Ring of Honor and they advertised it before this match, Wheeler Yuta will be defending his Pure Championship on Rampage tonight against Komander. Johnson and Henry are the first two legal men, with Johnson hitting 2 drop kicks. Komander and Gringo Loco tag in with a series of Hurricane Ranas taking place between both men. And then Vikingo and Drake tag in, with Vikingo hitting kicks and chops and Drake hitting a Hurricane Rana. Loco hits a dive to the outside on all of his opponents. And then Vikingo gets trapped in his opponent's corner once they're back in the ring. Johnson dives onto Henry on the outside, while Komander hits an arm drag onto both Gringo Loco and JD Drake, setting up for Komander and Vikingo to hit stereo moonsaults to the outside, and Gringo Loco has Komander and Vikingo on his show. This, I ain't gonna lie, it's pretty damn crazy, and the way I describe it is not going to do its due diligence, because it was a crazy feat. And I'm just now putting together, oh my god, this is what actually happened. So, Gringo Loco has both Vikingo and Komanders on his shoulder, like Doomsday Device style, but Vikingo is also on the shoulder of Komander, so it logically, you're like, why the hell is that the case? That's how it's set up. And Gringo Loco spins them out to powerbomb both of them. One of the craziest spots ever. Anytime Gringo Loco is in a match on ROH, it is crazy as hell, but if you've been on wrestling Twitter, you've probably seen it, so you at least know what the hell I'm saying. And then this sets up a Anthony Henry double stomp, but he is not able to get a pin as the pin attempt was broken up by Lee Johnson. And then this crazy-ass matchup ends with Komander having a roll-up on Gringo Loco to pick up the victory. So, a lot happened over this past week as it reclaims to Ring of Honor. This was the first Ring of Honor television review of 2024. We're 5 episodes away from episode number 50, which I think is kind of I guess I could say every episode is a milestone because you're just getting bigger and bigger numbers. And, 50 kind of is the halfway mark to 100. And I won't lie to you. I remember looking up on Wikipedia. I'm going on a spiel, so I apologize for this. I remember looking up on Wikipedia around the time of Impact 1000 last year. And I'm like, ROH didn't start. If you include HDNet, they would be very close to 1,000 episodes. But if you add I remember their not including these past 45 episodes, the past iteration of ROH was about 650 episodes. So if you include it, we're almost at like 700 episodes. So, like, again, 1,000 is kind of the landmark because very rarely do wrestling TV shows get to 1,000 episodes. Raw, SmackDown, and Impact. Even NXT is not that because NXT didn't start until 2010. You get the point I'm making. We might get there one day. It will be a long time from now, but this is the first of the year. Let's see how long we can keep it going. So hopefully we have a good rest of 2024. I won't lie to you. We're only 4 days in, 5 days in. It's been well for me so far. So hopefully that continues. Hopefully we can stay safe. Thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.